listen to That's all just gossip. Nobody will learn anything from me.
Hey, I do not sell any weapons. Khaled does. He's in the house with Onar.
I agree with you completely.
What kinds of weapons do you make?
Plain swords at the moment, not much else. But if I had some magic ore, I could forge weapons that are better than all comparable weapons made from regular old steel. You wouldn't happen to know where to find some around here. Besides in the Valley of Mines, I mean.
No.
Of course not.
Are you with the farmers or the mercenaries?
You're pulling my leg, aren't you?
I was just curious.
Have you ever seen a farmer who also forges weapons?
No.
Then why do you ask such stupid questions?
He really said that.
I want to join the mercenaries.
Stop blabbering then. Go to Torloff and let him put you to the test.
Yeah, he really said that. Nothing amazing.
Can you teach me how to forge a sword?
Sure. That'll cost you a bit, though. Let's say 30 gold pieces.
I can't help about it. I'm no better off myself.
Fine. Here's 30 for you.
And that was a damn good price, too. We can start as soon as you're ready.
You listened to the wrong people.
You really didn't deserve that.
Teach me how to forge magic ore weapons.
But you don't even know the basics. First, you need to learn how to forge a decent sword. Then we'll see.
Enough trouble as it is.
That's been known a long time. That was obvious.
Teach me how to forge a sword.
It's quite simple. Get yourself a piece of raw steel and hold it in the fire until it glows. Then put it on the anvil and hammer the blade into shape. Most important, watch out that the blade doesn't get too cold. You only have a few minutes at a time to work on your weapon. The rest you can find out for yourself. It's merely a matter of practice.
These days, I never knew that.
Where did you pick that up?
Teach me how to forge magic ore weapons.
As long as you aren't one of us, I'll be damned if I tell you the secret of the magic ore weapons. Only very few blacksmiths know it at all, and I believe that not even the smiths in town know anything about it. And that's a good thing, too. Otherwise, those boozers of the city guard would all be wielding magic swords next.
See that?
I knew that all along.
What about forging equipment?
What do you need?
Know that. Nothing amazes me anymore.
I don't know why he gets so worked up. He didn't get that from me.
That's really not my problem. I agree with you completely.
I've heard a thing or two.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
I can't believe that. But he knew that all along.
Nothing amazes me anymore. That was obvious all along.
I don't know why he gets so worked up.
You hardly know who to believe
I'm
these
not
days.
touching that. Nobody ever asked for my opinion.
You hardly know who to believe these days. It's not what I heard.
It was just like you said.
Yeah, he really said that. That was obvious all along.
What with?
Can't believe that.
Hey!
I've got my own opinion about that.
Wait till
What about forging equipment?
What do you need? That was quite obvious. You mustn't believe everything you hear.
Going to change that?
He never would have thought of that himself. I'm no better off myself.
I hardly know what to believe anymore. I wouldn't be so sure.
I don't want
I never knew that. He never would have thought of that himself. That's all just gossip.
Didn't get that from me. I already thought as much.
I wouldn't have.
Nobody will learn anything from me. You hardly know who to believe.
That's the
these
first
days.
I've heard of it.
Nobody ever asks me.
I've got my own opinion about that.
That was obvious all along. That doesn't surprise me. I've gone about it differently. You listened to the wrong people.
Things I could tell you.
He ran like Beliar himself was after him. Did you pick that up?
Damn it.
Nobody wants to know.
Much.
That's really not.
How are things?
Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
It's possible.
I used to deal in swamp wheat back in the colony. Remember?
And what are you dealing in now?
Ah, don't ask. I brought a whole package of swamp wheat with me from the mining colony. Many of the mercenaries like a little smoke now and then. I've earned a small fortune on the side. But some bastard stole all the weed from my chest. I'm pretty sure it was that Bodo. He bunks in the same room as me, and he always grins at me like such an idiot.
What are you going to do about the thief then?
One of these days, I'll catch him puffing away on my weed. And then, I'll find a quiet spot and teach him a lesson he won't forget. If I knock him down here in the middle of the yard, the other farmers will notice, and I'll pay an arm and a leg.
How come?
Quite simple. We can't rough up the farmers, otherwise Lee makes us pay a heavy fine. That's the way Onar wants it. And the more witnesses there are, the more of a fuss there is. That makes things more expensive. So I'll pull the thing off nice and inconspicuously.
I want to join Lee's people.
Lee's people? If Lee keeps on this way, they soon won't be his anymore.
Why?
Lee has always been a quiet one. It was that way in the colony, too. But lately, he's overdoing it. He just wants to sit here and wait until the paladins drop dead from starvation. Silvio thinks we should clean up a bit on the small farms and outside the city. I think that would make for an excellent change. At the moment, most of us are just twiddling our thumbs here. Do you want to join up anyway?
I want to become one of you no matter what.
You already know that we take a vote on every new recruit.
What are you hinting at?
Well, I haven't had anything to smoke in a long time. Bring me a few swamp weed reefers and you got my vote. You can surely scare some up someplace.
About the swamp weed.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
Here's a few stalks for you.
That's all? I can smoke that much in one sitting. It's got to be at least 10 reefers. At any rate, you've got my vote for joining us.
Show me your wares.
These days.
I don't have any swamp weed at the moment. Do you want something else?
I agree with you completely.
Been there, done that.
Gone about it differently.
What do you want from me?
Not my problem.
I want to join the mercenaries.
Like this forever.
Oh, and why do you think I should be in favor of you being accepted here?
And there's more.
Step in and swing.
What are the rules for a duel?
Quite simple. Both opponents have to have the opportunity to draw their weapons before the first blow.
Obvious.
You can't just go and belt one of the men without warning. There has to be some sort of spoken challenge, an insult, or another reason to fight. None of the other men will interfere in a fight like that, unless one of the two gets killed in the duel.
Is it really true?
Can you help me improve my abilities?
I could show you how to use your strength better in close combat.
himself was
A lot of fighters are very weak because they don't have the technique to use their strength properly. The same is true for dexterity and ranged weapons.
Is it really true?
I want to improve my abilities.
I couldn't care.
Really didn't deserve that.
Put me to the test.
Did Lee send you to me?
No.
Then what are you blathering at me for?
Don't tell me you didn't know that anymore.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
To the house, of course.
Onar pays us not to let guys like you in here.
Really said that.
I want to talk to Lee.
What do you want from him?
I want to join the mercenaries.
Not my problem.
Fresh cannon fodder. Then go on in.
Like Beliar himself was after it.
Lee's in the right wing. Don't even think about wandering around anywhere else. But above all, leave Onar alone. He doesn't like it when people talk to him without being asked. Especially not guys like you.
Same old thing all over
Trouble as
again.
it is. I wouldn't be so sure.
Everything fine with you?
If it's something important, go talk to Lee. Otherwise, leave me alone.
You hardly know who to believe these days.
Who the devil let you in here? What are you doing here? I thought you were dead.
What makes you think that?
Gorn told me it was you who brought down the barrier.
Yes, that was me, all right.
I never would have thought that a man could survive something like that. What brings you here? You aren't here without a reason.
I absolutely must talk to the paladins in town. Can you help me get to them?
What's your business with the paladins?
That's a long story.
I've got time.
Zardoz sent me on a mission. He wants me to obtain a powerful amulet, the Eye of Innos.
So you're still allied to that necromancer. I see. And the paladins have this amulet?
As far as I know, yes.
I can help you get to the Paladins, but first you need to become one of us.
How can you help me get to the Paladins?
Trust me, I've got a plan. I think you're the right man for it. I'll take you to the Paladins, and you'll do me a favor, but first, join us.
What exactly are you doing here?
Quite simple. I'm gonna see to it that we all get off this island. Onar hired us to defend his farm, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. But our reward is more than just our pay. By helping the farmers, we cut the city off from its provisions. And the less the Paladins have to eat, the sooner they'll listen when I finally make them an offer of peace.
What is your offer going to look like?
Essentially, it will be about our pardons and free passage to the mainland. You'll learn more when the time comes.
Gorn told you about me? What happened to him?
You remember him, don't you?
Sure.
He got caught by the Paladins and was sent back to the Valley of Mines with a penal convoy. If the road to the Valley of Mines wasn't plastered with Paladins and Orcs, I'd have sent a couple of the boys already to free him. But the way things are, there's no point. Poor devil.
I want to join you.
I'd hope you say that. I can use every able man here. The last mercenaries I accepted have done nothing but stir up trouble. In principle, you can start right away. Well, first there's one or two things we need to get straight, but it's no big deal.
What do I have to get straight before I can join you?
Onar, the landowner, is the one who employs us. You can only stay on the farm with his approval. And then there's the boys. I can only accept you if a majority of the mercenaries agree that you join us. But don't go to Onar before everything is straightened out. He's a very impatient fellow.
How can I convince the mercenaries to vote me in?
By doing what is expected of you as a mercenary, I should say. Talk to Torloff. He's usually outside in front of the house. He'll put you to the test. If you can pass that, you should have earned a large part of the necessary respect. He'll tell you everything else you need to know.
What do you know about the Ring of Water?
I might have known. You just have to mingle in everything, don't you?
Come on, tell me.
I'm only marginally involved in this. I know that this secret guild exists here and that the water mages are behind it. Since the fall of the barrier, I am no longer bound to the agreement I came to with the water mages back then. Of course, I still help when I can, but most of the time, I have my own problems and barely any time for other things. If you want to know more about it, you should probably talk to Cord. He's one of them, as far as I know.
I'm ready to join you.
Not before you've passed Tarloff's test.
That will never change.
He never would have thought of that himself.
I couldn't care less.
Go on like this forever.
If he doesn't see that ever change, I can't help him.
Put me to the test.
Did Lee send you to me?
He said you would help me.
Fine. So here we go. There are two things you have to do before you can join us. First, you have to prove that you're capable of mastering the tasks that you will have to fulfill as a mercenary.
That doesn't surprise
I'll
me.
put you to the test. And second, you have to earn the respect of the other mercenaries.
Nothing amazes me.
Well, how can I earn the respect of the other mercenaries?
That's no secret.
For most of them, it'll be enough if you fulfill your task and pass my test. But you'll have to find some other way of convincing some of them.
Same old
Some
thing
will
all
try and
over.
exploit your situation, and others may not like your mug.
Yeah,
You should try to get along with as many of the boys as possible. But if nothing else helps, then you can always take part in a duel.
Is it really
If you win, you'll earn the respect of most of them. But watch out that you don't kill one of them by accident, because then you'll have a big problem.
I'd have gone about it differently.
What about you? Will you vote me in?
Deserve that.
If you can prove that you can fulfill the duties of a mercenary,
He
yes.
insisted he knew better.
Same old thing.
How's
all
my
over.
reputation among the mercenaries?
Let's see. Wolf says he has nothing against you joining. Jarvis still isn't sure if you're on the right side. He doesn't want more people dancing to Silvio's tune. For that matter, neither do I. Cypher says that you owe him a little favor, and that you know what that's all about. You seem to have convinced Rod that you're strong enough. Sentenza will vote for you. He says you were a very reasonable man. Raul's against you. I think he can't stand you. I don't need to say anything about Silvio and Bolko. Those two morons are against everyone. Buster says you're okay. The rest of the mercenaries haven't said anything. Most of them are just waiting to see if you pass the test. At any rate, you won some fair duels already. You're far from done, kid. If you want us to accept you, you'll have to do something for us.
He really said that.
He thinks this is
Quite obvious.
What are my duties as a mercenary?
Onar hired us for two reasons. He wants us to keep the militia off his back, and he wants us to keep things in order on his farms. That includes collecting the rent when the small farmers won't pay. So, what'll it be?
All that matters is strength.
I'll deal with the militia, don't worry.
The farmer Bengar has complained that lately the militia from the city has been getting on his nerves. They're pressuring the farmer, probably trying to make him break with Onar. I want you to go to his farm and make it clear to the militia that they have no business there. Questions?
How can I find Bengar's farm?
In the southwest of the valley is a big stairway that leads to a high plain. That's where Bengar's farm is. If you get lost, ask the farmers in the fields how to find your way around the area.
I'm not telling you anything new.
no idea. You tell me.
How's it going?
The militia has bullied us long enough. Now that the mercenaries are on our side, they won't dare to just show up here anymore. The king may think he can get away with anything, but we're not going to take it anymore.
You have to step in and sort things out.
How's it going?
The militia has bullied us long enough. Now, the king...
In town, they're talking about a peasants' revolt.
Nonsense. We aren't doing anything except defending what we've worked hard for. It's certainly true that the war is being fought on the backs of the peasants, but Onar is no longer prepared to just stand by and watch while the king bleeds us dry.
Go on like this forever.
Can I rest somewhere around here?
If you're looking for a place to sleep, go to the barn. But don't lie down in a mercenary's bed by mistake. Onar makes sure that they leave us farmers alone. But with strangers who don't belong on the farm, the mercenaries can do whatever they like.
Cypher told me somebody stole a package of swamp weed from him.
And?
He thinks you're the one who took it.
Oh, that's why the guy is always gawping at me so stupidly. I've been extra friendly to him lately because he seems to have hit a rough spot. But there was nothing I could do. I'd look at him friendly-like, and he'd stare at me like he wanted to kill me.
That's really not my problem.
I've got my own opinion about that.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm staying
Enough
up.
trouble as it is.
I'd have gone about it differently. No,